welcome to the Explainer. All right, let's talk about a word you've probably heard a ton, especially in the tech world, DevOps. Now, it's way more than just a buzzword. It's a really big idea about how to build things faster and better by working together. And today, we're going to break it all down and demystify it for you.
So, to really get what DevOps is, we have to go back in time and understand the problem it was created to solve. People call it the wall of confusion. See, in the old way of doing things, you basically had two teams with completely opposite goals. On one side, you had the development team. Their whole job was to innovate, to create new features, and to push updates out the door as fast as humanly possible. But then you had the operations team. Their role was all about stability. Their success was literally measured by keeping the lights on, maintaining 100% uptime. So for them, every single new release from the dev team was a potential disaster waiting to happen.
So you've got one team rewarded for moving fast and breaking things, and another team rewarded for keeping everything exactly the same. This created these huge silos where the development team would finish their code and basically just toss it over a wall to operations. And when things, inevitably broke, it turned into a massive blame game. This meant delayed releases, a lot of frustration, and at the end of the day, a really bad experience for the most important person in this whole equation, the customer. This constant tension wasn't just inefficient, it was, frankly, toxic. It was causing a fatal level of dysfunction inside companies. And this is what led a few really smart people to start asking a pretty radical question. What if these two teams weren't enemies? What if they could actually work together? And this wasn't just about changing a process or a workflow. It was about a total, fundamental shift in culture. Now, this whole idea didn't just appear out of thin air. The DevOps movement really started to bubble up around the late 2000s, born directly out of these frustrations people were talking about in online forums and at conferences. And it all kind of came to a head in 2009 when a guy named Patrick Dubois, who was inspired by a talk about how fast Flickr could deploy code, organized the very first DevOps Days conference in Belgium. And just like that, this new philosophy finally had a name. So what is DevOps really? Well, at its absolute core, it is not a tool you can buy. It's not a job title. It's a cultural philosophy. It's a shift in mindset that's all about one thing: breaking down those walls. And you do that by focusing on collaboration, constant communication, and a true sense of shared responsibility for the entire product, from start to finish. And this whole philosophy is really built on a handful of core principles, all designed to just demolish those old silos. It means developers actually have to think about what happens when their code runs in the real world, and the operations team is involved from the very beginning, giving feedback. It's all about having shared goals, sharing the wins and the losses, and automating every single repetitive, boring task you can find so people can focus on what really matters. Okay, so that's the big idea, the philosophy. But what does it actually look like in practice? Well, it all translates into a really clear, repeatable process that people often visualize as something they call the infinite loop. So this loop shows how it's a continuous, never-ending process of improvement and delivery. It kicks off with planning what to build next. Then you code it. Then that code is automatically built and tested to make sure nothing's broken. Once it gets the green light, it's deployed out to customers. And then it's constantly monitored to see how it's performing. But here's the real magic, the part that makes it infinite. That loop feeds itself. Everything you learn from the monitor phase, bug reports, performance data, user feedback, doesn't just get filed away in a report. It flows directly back into the plan phase for the very next cycle. It creates this powerful, self-improving system where every single release makes the next one that much smarter. Okay, so a new culture, a cool infinite loop, that all sounds really nice. But does it actually work? Does this stuff deliver real results? Well, the data is pretty clear on this. This isn't just some feel-good change. It has a massive, measurable impact on the business. And you can literally see that impact in the dollars and cents. The market for DevOps tools and services is projected to explode past $25.5 billion by 2028. That's more than double what it was just a few years ago. Companies are voting with their budgets, which tells you this is no longer just some nice idea. It's a must-have to stay competitive. And it seems like that investment is paying off for pretty much everyone. I mean, think about this number for a second. An incredible 99% of organizations that have made the switch report positive effects. Wouldn't you ever see a number like 99% agreement on anything in business? It just works. And if you want to see what this looks like when it's taken to the absolute extreme, look no further than a company like Amazon. At its peak, Amazon was pushing new code out to its live servers, on average, every 11.7 seconds. No, that's not a typo. That's the mind-blowing power of a mature DevOps culture, the ability to innovate, fix, and improve almost in real time.
And what's really crucial to understand here is that the benefits aren't just for the techies. They have a direct impact on the bottom line. Companies get their products out the door faster, the quality of those products is actually higher, and maybe just as important, the culture inside the company gets better. The people doing the actual work are happier and more productive. But, and this is a really big but, adopting DevOps isn't like flipping a switch. It's not a magic bullet. The journey to get there has its own set of very real challenges, and knowing what they are is the first step to beating them.
Because here's the secret. The biggest hurdles are almost never about the technology. The research from Gartner found that a shocking 75% of DevOps transformations actually fail to live up to expectations. And why? It's almost always about the people. It's about organizational change. You're trying to change habits and ways of working that have been baked in for years, sometimes decades. That's hard. And this data just spells it out perfectly. The number one obstacle, by a pretty wide margin, is simply human resistance to change. It's fighting against that, but this is how we've always done it mentality. Sure, finding people with the right skills and dealing with clunky old systems are big challenges too, but they both trail behind that core human issue of changing the culture.
So, at the end of the day, the story of DevOps is proof that even the most stubborn, deeply ingrained walls that we build between teams can be torn down. And when they are, it leads to better collaboration and incredible innovation. It really gives us a powerful blueprint for breaking down barriers everywhere. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What walls in your world, in your work, or even in your life are ready to come down?
In the description below, you will find all links. Thank you for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you at the next one.